atmosphere on hand here at the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Arena. And making his way into the arena is Murat Gassiev, the former unified cruiserweight champion of the world, now preparing for a shot at the WBA heavyweight world title. An outstanding professional career consisting of 32 victories with 25 wins inside the distance, just 2 defeats. Cruiserweight in the final of the World Boxing Super Series for the undisputed Cruiserweight Championship. And then against Otto Wallin, which was a defeat, a reversal that raised a few eyebrows in Turkey back in September of 2023. But he's bounced back with 2 wins since, and here he is on the cusp of his WBA world title fight.
From Bulgaria, Kubrat Pulev!
And the man bringing that belt into the ring is the Cobra, Kubrat Pulev, from Sofia in Bulgaria. A veteran at 44 years of age now, but an incredibly tough, experienced operator. 35 fights, 32 wins, 14 inside the distance, and his losses have come against very good operators. Vladimir Klitschko is ringside at the O2 World Arena in Hamburg in 2014 when he first challenged for the unified world title, knocked out in the 5th round by some thunderous left hooks. Then he challenged for the unified title again against Anthony Joshua in Wembley behind closed doors in December of 2020. He stopped in the 9th round there, but again showing his immense toughness, and then dropping a split to the evergreen warhorse Derek Chisora, that coming at the O2 Arena. But what a moment here. World title on the line in the open air at Dubai.
To get us set for this World Championship main event, the national anthems for both fighters. First, for the challenger Murat Gassiev, the national anthem of Russia. And now, for the champion Kubrat Pulev, the national anthem of Bulgaria. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event of the evening. 12 3-minute rounds for the WBA Heavyweight Championship of the World. Sanctioned by the Middle East Professional Boxing Commission. The main event for the Bet City IBA Pro 13. Our three judges scoring this bout at ringside. From the United States of America, Glenn Feldman. From Italy, Giuseppe Quartaroni. And from Panama, Guillermo Perez Pineda. And our referee in charge when the bell rings from the United States of America, Rafael Ramos. So, for those of you watching around the world, to those of you joining us here live in Dubai, this is the first World Championship Heavyweight Contest in Dubai. Are you ready to make history? Let's meet the fighters. First, the challenger, fighting out of the black corner, wearing the black trunks with red trim. He stands 6 feet, 2 1/2 inches tall. He weighed in at 104.7 kilos. Tonight, he enters the ring with a professional record of 32 victories, opposite 2 defeats, with 25 of those wins coming by way of knockout. And he fights out of Vladikavkaz, Russia, introducing the former IBF Cruiserweight Champion of the World, Murat Iron Gassiev. And now his opponent, fighting out of the gold corner, the defending world champion. Wearing the red trunks with green trim, he stands 6 feet, 4 1/2 inches tall. He weighed in at 115 kilos. Tonight, he enters the ring with a professional record of 32 victories, opposite 3 defeats, with 14 of those wins coming by way of knockout. And he fights out of Sofia, Bulgaria. Introducing the former European heavyweight champion. And tonight, he is the current, the reigning, the defending WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Kubrat the Cobra Pulev.
Well, there's a whole multitude of people up there in the boxing ring. There is the prize that is on the line tonight. Kubrat Pulev's regular WBA World Heavyweight title. Back in the ring to defend that belt for the first time since he faced off against Manuel Char in December of last year. Let's get the final instructions.
Protect yourself and obey my command. Good luck.
So Mr. Rafael Ramos, the third man in the ring, as we take a quick look at the tail of the tape. Kubrat Pulev, the natural heavyweight, facing off against the man who has come up from the cruiserweight division. How significant will that 11-kilo advantage be in favor of the man who is seeking to defend his title here in Dubai tonight? Will Gassiev, the younger man, be able to use greater speed and athleticism to get punches off without reply? Bit of boxing history about to unfold here at the Dubai Tennis Arena. Magnificent open-air venue. And finally, the ring apron cleared. The boxers pacing impatiently as the opening bell sounds. We're underway. It's the WBA World Heavyweight title on the line. It's the regular version, being defended by the man wearing the red trunks, and that is Kubrat Pulev, the Cobra. The shaven-headed figure wearing the black trunks trimmed with red is Murat Iron Gassiev. 12 3-minute rounds scheduled, and it's a cagey start. Both men respectful of the heavy artillery that the other possesses. But it's Kubrat Pulev moving effectively from the waist, just shaping up. And you can see the natural size difference between two men who are about the same height. Kubrat Pulev, the career-long heavyweight. Not dwarfing would be overstating it, but he's the significantly heavier, bigger man. So Gassiev thinking about creeping into range on quick feet. The two men just feinting, not thinking distance. Cracking atmosphere here at the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Arena. Left-right combination, the first shot thrown with any real purpose by either boxer, but there's a nice stab jab to the body, and disengaging without reply on quick feet was Gassiev, reaching for the right cross downstairs. Gassiev content to take up a position near the ropes. Pulev just waving that left hand and comes through with a right cross, which partially blocked by the glove, but still landed with sufficient force, and then the impact of it perhaps exaggerated further because Gassiev was employing the layback. But his back was against the ropes, and so it looked as though he was punched backwards over the top rope with his torso. Double jab again from Gassiev as an effective shot downstairs. Pulev looks to respond with a 1-2. Two incredibly experienced boxers. Just coming forward off the back foot is Gassiev. Didn't fully commit and extend the jab into the chest of Pulev, who would engage reverse gear. Clumping right hand slung into the body from Pulev. Closing seconds of the opening round. Pulev coming forward with purpose behind a 1-2. It was blocked effectively by the backhand cross guard of Murat Gassiev. So there is the IBA president, Mr. Umar Kremlev, enjoying the opening round of this battle for the WBA regular world heavyweight title.
It was cagey, wasn't it? As you said, Pulev has got the height and the reach that comes with it. He's always had a good jab. He was able just to use that in that opening round. But Gassiev really there just having a look. At no point did he really make the commitment from the outside. He's just got those gloves up. He's dropping the elbows in, protecting himself basically. Just pulled back and took the sting off that right hand. And it's a sensible thing to do. Just give that little bit of ground. Have a look at your opponent, because he is going to make that commitment in from the outside. That's what he's going to have to do. And to do it recklessly in the first round would be bold and maybe slightly foolish, so I'm not surprised we saw what we saw there.
So we move into the second round. Both men moving at a slightly brisker tempo to begin this second stanza, and it's having had a look in the opening round. Gassiev keen to stake a claim to ring center and try and push Pulev backwards. Solid jab landed by Pulev in between the yellow gloves of Gassiev, and there's that same shot once again. He's flicking the jab out pretty consistently, Pulev. And while it's not always landing, it is keeping Gassiev occupied, and just that one did get through the defenses. And is he looking to blind Gassiev and use it as a decoy to bring the right hand over the top? There's another left jab into the nose of Gassiev, and he's using that lead left hand very effectively indeed. He's not stopped waving it. You can see the right glove of Gassiev effectively defending against the jab on occasion, and that's why Pulev tried to turn it into a long left hook to sneak it around the outside. Gassiev scored with a jab to the body a few moments ago, but just controlling the distance with that lead left stick is Pulev, and as I say that, Gassiev comes forward and scores with another two thrusting jabs to the body. Had plenty of cruiserweights come up from the lower division in terms of weight class. Pulev turns a right hand beneath the left elbow of Gassiev, looking for that left hook around the rear of his right glove once again. And look at the activity on that lead left hand from Pulev. It really is proving to be an effective weapon, and it's controlling the distance very effectively indeed. Also helping him to establish his range so he can bring that backhand through. The left jab, the GPS of the boxing ring, and Pulev employing it very effectively. There was a good right hand in response downstairs from Gassiev, and then he steps in with a purposeful jab to the chest plate of the champion. There's a good right hook to the body from Gassiev. Really did step into it and just curved it around the left elbow, around the short ribs of Pulev. But Pulev not changing response, and again it takes the very best in the business to get this man out of there inside the distance. That loss to Dr. Steelhammer, Vladimir Klitschko, and AJ Anthony Joshua, the only two men to take it, the only two of the three men to defeat him, and the only men to stop him inside the distance. Very good second round of boxing.
Well, Pulev again just using that lead left hand effectively, and sometimes he's using it more as a decoy, a distraction, and other times he'll put some heat on it and try and pierce the guard with it. And Gassiev, when he got through with that right hand to the body most effectively, he stepped just a little bit wider, which I think helped him just slip inside the jab slightly and then send the right hand into the body. But he's got a nice balance and rhythm about him, Pulev, because he's just got such good basics, and he always has had. He's had a long storied amateur career before he turned professional, so that setup that he's got is rock solid. And I wonder at what point is Gassiev going to try and make a little bit of a move here and try and increase the tempo and just click up a gear, because boxing like this is exactly what Pulev will want.
So as we move into the third round, Kubrat Pulev not only finding the range with consistency behind that shot right there, his left jab, he's also using it to dictate the tempo. Now Gassiev, can he use what we presume will be his greater speed of foot, maybe more dynamic athleticism, to use quick feet to get in and out without reply? But again, just controlling the distance behind that long bridge of a left jab is Kubrat Pulev. Nothing flash about his rock-solid fundamentals. Reaching for a left hook around the corner, almost slapping with it. And he's just beginning to establish a rhythm behind that lead left hand and cutting a pretty dynamic figure. Effective defenses with the gloves. Bracketing the head with the hands from Gassiev. There's another solid left jab from Pulev, but it's countered by a straight right cross to the body from Gassiev. There's that right hand which he landed in the second round. He stepped to the side and slung it again. This time he brought it to the front of Pulev's torso, and no shots can have a really debilitating effect. Explosive jab to the body once again from Pulev, right into the midsection. Well, he looked for the right hand around the corner once again to the body, but it was blocked by the left elbow of Pulev, and he then looked to go in search of his own straight shot success upstairs. Double right hand this time, body then head from Gassiev. Really athletic move with the feet to take him into range, and then he disengaged to avoid any attempted counter from Pulev. But Pulev prodding, probing with his straight punches, not really putting much on them at present. But remember, he is a hulking 115 kilograms, some 11 kilograms heavier than tonight's title challenger. That's around 23 pounds of difference. That right hand landing on the hip, which will slow down the movement of Pulev, and he's not noted for his foot speed to begin with, but he is very consistent with the lead left hand, and really difficult to ruffle. Closing seconds of the third round. Good work to the body once again, and just a little more variety being shown from Pulev, particularly from that right hand.
And he did make a bit of a move, didn't he, in that round, Gassiev, just taking his feet in a little bit more, making that commitment. And right above us, he threw that right hand to the body, right hand to the head, and then, as you said, he stepped up. I felt like he could have stayed there, actually, because there wasn't really anything coming back from Pulev at that point, and he decided that discretion was the better part of valor there and just pulled back out. But he landed some good punches to the body, and he's just beginning to find his range a little bit there, I think, because that's where he's going to have to get to do some damage. So it's quite well set up, this, really, through 3 rounds. Pulev would have won those first couple of rounds. He was still on the jab in the third round, but as I say, Gassiev landed some fairly solid shots, mainly to the body. Not too many of them, but it's not been one of those fights where bundles of punches have been thrown, not yet anyway.
So we move into round number 4. Double jab out of the gate to the body from Murat Gassiev. Here's the same shot on replay from Gassiev, who's just picking up the punch pace here now. Good variety on that right hand, around the corner and then through the middle, hook then uppercut. Talking about the decorated amateur career of Kubrat Pulev. First covered him back in 2005 at the World Championships coming from Mianyang in China. As Neil Perkins got himself on the medal podium in that same championships. The following year, I was ringside in Plovdiv, Bulgaria in 2006 when he came away with the European Championship bronze. And that was the very first time I laid eyes on Alexander Usyk. He was competing as a 75-kilogram middleweight boxer in that edition. And all of that amateur pedigree is what Kubrat Pulev has used as a foundation to build upon for what has been a really solid professional career. Low blow. It's been fought in a wonderful spirit, this one. I was ringside for the World Boxing Super Series as Gassiev gets through with the right hand, and his contest against the KO doctor Junior Dortikos was fought in a similarly terrific show of sportsmanship and spirit between the two, as the two men engaged in one of the most terrific two-way cruiserweight contests you could hope to see. But here he is now, competing as a heavyweight, picking up the punch pace, and seemingly growing in confidence, having felt what Kubrat Pulev has to offer. Looks to go to work with a left hook right hand. Pulev, no change in his expression, no change in his pace or his tempo. So can Gassiev take him out of this rhythm that he's seeking to establish? Right hand comes through in the form of a half hook, half uppercut. Trying to snake it in between the active high-held gloves of Gassiev. But Gassiev stepping forward, seemingly more confidently now. Right hand to the body once again. Couple of cuffing left hooks to the head thereafter from Gassiev. Kubrat Pulev going in search of a right hook around the corner to conclude his attempted two-shot salvo. Left, right, had some real pop on it from Kubrat Pulev. Only finding the glove defenses of Gassiev. Gassiev doing a good job not getting involved in any grappling or mauling with the far heavier man. Pulev just trying to change the pace as a left hook was whipped in, but it went over the top of Pulev. Pulev comes back with a pretty explosive 1-2. Really did step into that final combination with purpose on the bell.
He did, but again, during that round, you could see Gassiev just kind of warming to the task a little bit here, because the first couple of rounds, he didn't really do all that much. Mainly he stayed on the outside, had a look, didn't really look to make too much of a commitment. The third round, we saw him just make it more with those feet, willing to get a bit closer. And then in that round again, I think we saw him make a further commitment because he's just sliding those feet in a little bit more. That means he is going to get hit with those kinds of punches because he's moving into that sort of range, but he seems happier now just to try and move in, get onto the inside and let his own hands go. And he's aware of the danger that will come with doing that, but he's also aware that he has to do that. This is exactly what he has to do if he's going to bring some heat to the door of Pulev and win the fight. I think this is shaping up pretty nicely, actually.
So moving to round number 5. Terrific injection of speed with that left hand. Hooks to both body and head from Gassiev. Kubrat Pulev just steadily poking away with that lead left stick. Dropping down. Oh, that's a good left-right combination. Now he stepped off, and I think he embellished it. Little rubber legs dance a little bit, playing possum on the ropes. And Pulev, encouraged by that success, getting forwards and looking for more straight punches in between the defenses of Gassiev. And Pulev picking up the pace of that lead left hand now, really tripping it out compared to what he was doing earlier in the contest. But Gassiev, having just had his boxing stance disturbed momentarily, back onto the front foot once again, looking to launch another explosive volley without reply. And there's a right hand over the top. Haven't seen that shot too often from Gassiev. He's targeted hooks to both body and head, but to step in with an overhand right over the active lead left of Pulev is a new wrinkle introduced to this battle for Pulev's WBA heavyweight title. There's a left-right once again. And he really is stepping into it, but then exploding off his own back foot to sink a left hook into the body is Pulev. Is Gassiev, and Gassiev looking for the left hook to the head, and this one heating up now, just beyond the halfway stage of this 5th round. Scoring jab downstairs from Gassiev. Pulev responds with a right cross up top. But Gassiev looking to push Pulev backwards now, behind that left jab, and now dropping his right hand to present a different look to Pulev. Here's Gassiev, and Pulev continuing to try and sneak that backhand in between the gloves of the more compact boxer. So Gassiev seemingly making a concerted effort here to get onto the front foot and push the bigger man backwards, and he's got him against the ropes and comes through with a roundhouse right. Pulev gets himself back off the strands to the space of center ring, and is this injection of tempo by Gassiev just beginning to work Kubrat Pulev a little harder than he would like. He sought to control the tempo and the distance behind his lead left. There he comes through with a left-right combination. Sneaking in the left hand around the corner once again. Stepped in, right hand, left hook to the body from Gassiev. There's the 10-second clapper. Pulev with just a little bit of a furrowed brow here now, his mouth slightly open, reaching for a right cross to try and keep Gassiev at bay. Slight increase in the pace of this heavyweight contest during the course of that 5th round.
No, absolutely. Gassiev, you can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to bring that increased pressure, but at the same time, he's not really moving his head. He's just coming in a straight line there, and he got pinned by that 1-2 of Pulev 5, 6, 7, 8 times in the second half of the round alone, and he's putting something into this Pulev, you can see there, and we know he's 44 years old, but when that's on offer, he's going to take it. And Gassiev, I don't think he did himself too many favours in that round, to be honest. If his plan is to keep moving forward and just see how long Pulev can hit him for, I'm not sure how advisable that is, because, okay, as we know, he is advancing in years, but he's a technician. He can throw that 1-2 without taking too much out of himself. I think Gassiev has just got to try and be a bit smarter about it than this, which in the previous round he was, and then in that round, really he wasn't.
So into round 6. Pulev bringing the uppercut into play as he uncoiled it, but couldn't quite find the range. There's a good right hand to the body, and it just doubled over Pulev momentarily, but again he's back. Oh, that's a wonderful three-shot combination. Left jab, right cross, left uppercut from Pulev, bringing the uppercut into play from the left flank. He attempted one from the right hand in the previous round. And again, Gassiev is trying to get some head movement going on the way in. Oh my goodness, what a left hook! And Kubrat Pulev gets and fell down to the canvas in stages. He's not going to beat the count. And he's been waved off by the referee, Rafael Ramos. A single shot knockout. And Murat Gassiev, the former unified cruiserweight champion of the world, has prompted jubilant scenes in the boxing ring here at the Dubai Duty Free Tennis Arena, because he has just claimed the WBA regular heavyweight world title. A terrific single shot conclusion of a contest that was bubbling along nicely. Each man was enjoying success in their own territory. Gassiev with explosive bursts, consistency from Pulev, and then a left hook uncoiled, stepping to his left and catching Pulev right on the jaw. His eyeballs were in orbit. He went down to the canvas, and despite his best efforts, he was unable to beat the count. An emphatic conclusion to this tussle for the WBA regular heavyweight title. Kubrat Pulev dethroned, and Murat Gassiev is the new WBA regular heavyweight champion. What a conclusion to a contest that was a competitive affair prior to that emphatic ending.
The president of the IBA.
That was an incredible finish. One-punch knockout. We've seen lots of those in the World Amateur Championships over the last 10 days or so, but they are rare. They are rare, and he just stepped in. It was a lovely tight left hook. He landed right on the chin. He took his feet in. He got everything right with it, and down he went, flat on his back. And when somebody goes down like that, you know that they're not going to get back up, because all the tensile strength really just left his body. And down he went like he'd been poured onto the canvas. It was an absolutely terrific finish, and fit to win any title. It really was.
So, Murat Gassiev engaging with fans ringside. President Mr. Umar Kremlov just orchestrating these impromptu meet and greets. But what a moment for Murat Gassiev. The former unified cruiserweight champion of the world has ascended to the WBA regular heavyweight title. Let's get the official particulars from tonight's MC, Big
Referee Rafael Ramos calls a stop to this contest at 50 seconds of round number 6, declaring your winner by knockout and the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Murat Iron Gassiev!
Well, Murat Iron Gassiev has ascended to world title status before, but it's a feeling that never gets old. Here in boxing's blue ribbon division, the heavyweight division, the former cruiserweight king has got himself a WBA regular title to get himself in the mix in what is a really lively, competitive and action-packed heavyweight division. Now, the man who's just relinquished undisputed status is Alexander Usyk. And remember, they went for all of the titles at cruiserweight in the final of the World Boxing Super Series. There's a long queue of guys knocking on the door of Alexander Usyk, and Murat Gassiev has just joined it by claiming that WBA regular strap.
And that's exactly it, isn't it? He's on the map now. He's part of the landscape, and life, if you like, but boxing in particular is about taking your opportunities, because you never really know when they're going to come, if they might come, if another one will come again. And let's be honest, he'd not set the world like the heavyweight, had he? He lost that fight against Otto Wallin. He'd had a couple of fights since then. nothing had really happened. He wasn't really going anywhere. And then this fight came along for him, and this was it for him, really, if he was going to make anything of his career at heavyweight. And we just see the finish again there. It's absolutely crunching, that left hook, and you can just see the body is just not obeying him there. He is straining so hard to get back up, straining every sinew, but it just wasn't quite happening. And now the reality is that he's a player. He is a player. It is the regular belt. It's not the full WBA belt, and people who follow boxing will recognise that. But at the same time, it gets you a piece on the chessboard, because people will want this. Moses Itama wants this, for example. We know people back in England who were very keen to make this fight, and Gassiev managed to slide in there, and now he's got the win. So when you're the champ, you have a target on your back and people want to fight you. You have options, don't you?
Indeed. To a certain extent, you can call the shots, but he will have grander designs to build on the momentum that he's just established here tonight. Sea of humanity up in the boxing ring. It's good to see that Kubrat Pulev is up and able to move around under his own coordination after enduring that single shot KO. And Kubrat Pulev, as we were talking about off air before we came on air for this main event, one of the toughest heavyweights of his generation. And it's taken the very best to do what has happened to him tonight. It's taken the best to inflict it upon him. Now again, he is getting on in years, but the pride remains intact, and he was boxing pretty well. Using his left hand, his right cross started to bring uppercuts into play, but that as emphatic a finish as you could hope to see.
It really was, and those fundamentals are still there. As we saw, the jab is still good, the 1-2 is still good, that base that he works off is still in place. You know, all of that stuff that's been drilled into him over decades is never going to leave him, and as people say, the last thing that leaves you is your power. But at 44 years old, your punch resistance is not going to be the same. That's just a fact. You speak to any neurologist, you speak to anyone about that, and they will tell you as you get older, it's fractions as well in boxing. Your reactions will slow down. You might not land punches you used to be able to land. You might not be able to avoid punches you used to be able to avoid. Now, with that one, because it was delivered from up tight, I don't think there was too much he could have done about it. I don't think he even really saw it. And that's the problem, because he wasn't really braced for it, and they're the ones that will hurt you. Men of that size who are very highly trained with the neck muscles they've got and all the rest of it, if you see it and you're braced for it, almost certainly you will survive it. But his guard was up and he just slid in, and it was so well delivered, wasn't it? It was so well delivered, and in a sense it came from nowhere. But that's the beauty of the sport. You think you're getting a read on how a fight is going, and everything can just change in an instant. It would have been interesting to see what might have happened in the second half, but you know, we never got there.
Indeed, and that is the reality of this weight class more than any other. A single shot can turn everything that has preceded it completely on its head. Kubrat Pulev was competing nicely, probing away with his left hand, bringing through the occasional right cross. This man would inject bursts of increase in tempo, stepping to the side to land the right hand to the body from the early stages. Then he began to bring the left hook to the body into play. Then he would double up the right hand and bring it to the head as well. But still, this man had something of a sense of permanence about him. Didn't see that he was troubled by any of the shots that came in his direction. And I think he's just exchanging a few words with his familiar old rival, Derek Chisora, one of the few men to get the better of Kubrat Pulev.
What do you think he'll do now, Pulev?
Pulev?
Yeah, 44 years old. Well, he got to the top of the mountain,
indeed,
didn't he?
yeah.
Whatever people think about the WBA regular,
yeah,
he will be forever remembered in Bulgaria now as their first ever heavyweight
right.
champion. That's in the books. I mean, there's nothing left to prove, is there really?
I wouldn't have thought so. And again, at this stage of his career, unless it's a contest against a man of a similar vintage, who really is he going to fight? Would the young contenders up on the rise, would they still value the scalp of Kubrat Pulev? That's the realm he doesn't want to find himself in, almost as a stepping stone for young contenders seeking to take his scalp. So, but again, he will look to exercise options on his own terms, and we only hope that he's got good counsel around him and makes a decision that he can live with.
That's it. That's it. You need good advice in these situations. It's very difficult to hang them up. Everybody knows that.